Welcome, everyone, to this free flow releasing group coaching call. My name is Christian Frem, and I will host this call. I'm broadcasting from northern Norway. Beautiful day. So just allow yourself to slow down. Fully right this moment. Just allow yourself to hear whatever sounds you're hearing. Feel the air in your skin. Feel the weight of your body, whatever surface you're sitting on. Just tuning into the senses that help you calm your mind, be more in touch with this moment, this feeling, this moment. And I just had an idea days ago. And for those of you listening later who might not know what this is, get a feeling of it, you can take a deep breath and exhale and just say, ah, just feel into that. One more time. Ah, doing that might give you a little sense of what releasing. Check and see if there's anything you're holding on to. Is something you want to happen? Could be a feeling that you want not to end. Could be anything. We are so accustomed to holding on that this seems like our natural way to be. In reality, you just open your eyes, loosen your at all times. Just feel into that holding. Feel into how it feels to breathe. Could you just let go? It's a lot easier than not thinking. Check and see again. If there's anything you're trying to push away, push it back. You wish not to happen. Maybe a feeling you wish not to happen. Feel into that. Could you let go of that pushing away? As you do, you might notice you feel a little lighter, a little freer with love. However big or small that feeling is, tune into the love. Check and see if there's anything you're wanting from that wanting is a lacking feeling. It's a feeling, or better said, a sense that you don't have it. So in a way, you're reinforcing your lack by this want. And the theme of today's call is grief. You can even check and see if you can get in touch with some grief right now. And could you let go of wanting to control it, wanting to change it? Just answer that honestly, aloud or inside. And as you do, you might again notice that things are getting lighter. So check again. See if there's more of that. Wanting control, lacking control. Could be about the grief. Could be about something else. Could be about a person. Could be yourself. Could you very gently let go of lacking control? And check then if there's any sense of lacking love, lacking approval, and wanting to have it. And again, since this week's theme is grief, you see if there's anything in relation to a grief you have experienced or are experiencing. Could be a wanting somebody to care about you, to love you, to give you their time. And could you very gently let go of lacking approval and wanting to have it? And check again and see if there's more of that. Wanting approval, lacking approval. And could you let that go? As we go on to wanting safety. So check and see for that. And check especially in relation to grief. Often we can have lots of old grief that we have suppressed. So in a way, the moment is still with us. The happening is still stored in our body. So check and see if there's any wanting safety with relation to grief or something else. And could you very gently let go of wanting safety, lacking it? And as you do, you might notice that you feel a little bit safer. Letting go of the wanting opens you up to having. So again, I can see if there's more of that lacking safety. Sense of being unsafe. And could you let that go? Remember to ask from your being, your feeling center. This is not an intellectual exercise. So could you let go of that sense of lacking safety? And check again if you can get in touch with any grief in this moment. And in releasing, there's a teaching of complementary emotions. So if you go deeply, deeply, deeply into apathy, you can get in touch with peace. If you go deeply, deeply, deeply into fear, you can get in touch with courageousness. This we have seen with many people in very dangerous, frightening situations. They might get in touch with an heroic aspect of themselves and really step up and do what's needed. And the complementary emotion to acceptance, no, sorry, the complementary emotion to grief is acceptance. You go deeply into grief, you might find that something breaks in a good way. You surrender and you come to acceptance. So could you just say yes to any grief you might think can get in touch with right now? Could you just allow yourself to feel the grief? And more. And even more. And could you accept the grief? And check and see if there's some sense of acceptance, however big or small. Could you just allow yourself to get in touch with the acceptance? And just feel into that as we listen to the silence together. Just allow that silence and acceptance to fill your being as best you can. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. They were closed. Just try and let this energy be with you and deepen as we continue the call. So the floor is now open for questions, sharing of gain, and if anybody wants some assistance with anything, feel free to raise your hand. And remind you again that the topic is grief. But of course, it's possible to pick up anything you might wish for. And if nobody feels up for going live today, and I remind you that we can turn off the camera, the recording, of course. But if not, I'll just go deeper into our release about grief and sorrow. And regarding emotions, every emotion is in a way, it's beautiful. It's mostly the wanting that arises from the emotions or with the emotions that doesn't feel good. But in a way, every emotion is like a color of the rainbow. And grief is one of those colors. It can be a very hard emotion. I recently was working with myself and I noticed lots of old grief. I wasn't aware that I had it. And it was very, very uncomfortable to experience it. But I managed to stay with it without going so much into thought, because that is often the problem that makes the feelings uglier. And I managed to feel into it and not be so swayed by it. And I have a friend, she unfortunately could not be here, but she asked about the theme. She wanted the theme to be grief for this week. So she had a pet, a very beautiful dog that I think she had to put it to rest because of some disease. So this one is dedicated to her. So just check and see if there's any grief you can get in touch with. Maybe you're missing a pet, somebody close to you that died. Unfortunately, it's a part of life that people and other living beings have to end. It's a finite lifespan. Just give yourself permission to feel into the feeling of grief. And see if you can feel it as best you can without all the stories. Just feel it as an energy. To do this, it can help to can feel the texture of the feeling or the temperature. Every feeling as it's cold, maybe it's warm. Can feel very located in the body, mostly around in the stomach area, maybe the chest area. Can feel if it's hard or if it's soft, if it's windy, foggy. Those things can help you get in touch with a pure feeling. And I know this can be difficult to do in the beginning. Even after practice, it can be difficult, but it's very helpful. So just allow yourself to feel into that feeling of grief on an energetic level. And when you get in contact with the energy, you could even imagine that you have a waterfall around where the energy is located on your body. And you just allow all that water of the emotion to pass through and leave. And it might feel uncomfortable to get in touch with the emotion of grief. That's one of the reasons we suppress them, these emotions, and many other emotions. It's only leading to us holding on to them or keeping them in our subconscious. And this way they inflict or they affect our response to life and make us less present. So just see if you can open up and allow this emotion of grief to pass through you, flow through you. And remember, you don't have to wallow in the grief. You can just allow it to be felt, acknowledged, and go through you. And even the grief emotion has its own beauty. As I said, it is the gateway to acceptance. Maybe the grief is about somebody who passed away. And it's impossible to change that. At least, at least at our present moment in time, that's something that has have to be accepted. So could you open up to that grief? Just be brave and allow yourself to feel it. And could you allow that grief to transform into acceptance and change the past? We might as well accept it. So that grief could be used to strengthen your acceptance, which is a beautiful feeling. In all of the places where we really can change things is when we accept what is now. And you might remind yourself that, as you say, or as they say in physics, energy can never disappear. It can only take different forms. So could you open up to the possibility that your loved one or loved ones are still with you? And in your deepest beingness, your deepest self, there are no limits or no separation. In your deepest self, you are one with everyone and everything. So could you open up to that? And in a way, you're wanting oneness when someone dies with that physical form of the person or the animal, feeling a lack of oneness. So could you let go of that sense of lacking oneness? Could you open up to being one with that person or pet or animal which you miss? And at the same time, if there's any grief, just allow yourself to feel that. Could you say yes to that grief and allow yourself to surrender into acceptance? And there might be a strong want to change what happened. So often, when someone dies, we want to change that. What happened? Of course. We want to change how we feel about it. Maybe we feel like things could have happened in another way that stopped the death from occurring. So could you let go of wanting to change that and open to accepting what happened? And if more grief is coming, just open to accepting that as well. Allow it to purify your being. As you open up to more acceptance. Check and see if there's any wanting approval in relation to the grief. Maybe you're disapproving of yourself. If I just was there, if I did something else. I have a brother that committed suicide not so long ago, so then it's easy to disapprove of yourself. Maybe you could have said something. Maybe you could have done something differently. That disapproval is not helping anything. It's like a poison. So could you very gently just allow that disapproval to pass through? And maybe if you're thinking of somebody who's passed away, might be that you feel a lack of love. Maybe you felt they never gave you the love or the appreciation that you longed for. So could you let go of wanting love and see if you can open up to being love this moment, your true nature. And this might be difficult, but very fruitful. Maybe it's right for that person to die at that time, or that animal. Maybe he or his or her or its days were counted. Maybe they were in pain. So again, could you just feel the grief? Allow it to pass through. And could you be courageous and send some approval to what happened? As best you can. Only do that as best you can. And again, tune into the energy of approval and acceptance. You can remind yourself that that is basically the only thing you can do at this point. And you can check if there's any feeling of being unsafe in relation to the grief, with relation to what happened. Maybe you're afraid of the same thing happening to you. You can open to life being eternal and life being good. And could you let go of the sense of lacking safety? And check again and see if there's more. Could you very gently let go of lacking safety and open to the goodness and the beauty of the universe? As you let go of having to figure out or understand everything in your mind. And check if there's any feeling of lightness, freedom, joy, acceptance available to you in this moment. And if there is, could you just surrender and give yourself to that? And again, take a deep breath. Just say, ah. You might feel like me. You have let go of some grief or managed to handle it better or transform it. So could you give yourself some love and approval for that? And if anybody else, anybody want to share something or share some insight, something that happened to them, want some releasing assistance, feel free to raise your hand. And if not, that's okay. I have a retreat to go to. So we can just have a small closing cleanup. So just allow yourself to go even deeper and check and see if there's anyone or anything you're wanting to control in this moment. Could be yourself. And could you let go of wanting control? And check and see if there's any wanting love, any sense of lacking love in this moment. And could you just allow that sense of lack to pass through? As you open to having love, to being love. As you open to that, could you give your limited self lots of love and approval for being exactly as you are in this moment? And could you open to giving? My guru says hello. Let's take it down for now. So could you open to giving your life and your world lots of love and approval? Could you open to the possibility of everything being exactly as it should right now? And to the goodness of that. And check and see if there's any sense of lacking security, lacking safety, lacking survival. And could you let go of the sense of lacking that? Just listen to the silence. And surrender to the love, acceptance, and peace. Thank you.